Chad Moyer with you here on the Rural Radio Network. It is time for our Fridays in the Field segment. It's brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank. Here in northeast Nebraska, we're north of Creston, Nebraska, where we're visiting with Bob Larson. He's a dairy farmer, and he also does his own on-farm trials in his cropping situation. Bob, thanks for joining us here today. First of all, I just want to get a little bit of background about you and your operation here north of Creston.
Yeah, Chad, thanks for taking the time to come out to the farm today. I guess we really appreciate it. Yeah, all right, we're kind of a corn, soybean farm. We do some alfalfa and put up crops for our dairy operation that we have around here. So
okay, so the dairy, first of all, size and scope of that.
Yeah, so the dairy's a 350 cow dairy. We actually have two facilities that we milk cows in. We have the robotic dairy, which we built in 2018. So we milk 250 cows there. And then we kept the old parlor going up there, and we still milk 100 cows up there, I guess, twice a day yet. So.
Okay, so robotic dairy, you were one of the first in the state to adopt that as a management option. How has that been going over the last few years?
It's been going really good. I guess, you know, the main goal of it is labor was getting tough and efficiencies of how we could, you know, manage things better being a smaller dairy. And I think we hit all those goals, I guess, really well with what we built with the new dairy.
Okay. So how does the dairy incorporate into your nutrient management plan on the cropping operation?
It's kind of a neat cycle, I guess, that comes out of it is, you know, all the manure that comes from the cows runs through a flush system. So we separate the solids and we haul that back out as manure. And then the water that we keep, then we use that to water back out on the field. So everything gets tested and we know kind of what our soil has for nutrients, and then what the nutrients in the water or the lagoon water coming out. So we try to apply to try to, you know, replace what is needed. So when we cut silage to feed back to the cows, it's just kind of a great big cycle where it just keeps regenerating itself.
Have you ever put a number to it? You know, the nutrients that come off the dairy, what percent of your fertilizer needs is that in a year?
Yeah, you know, I mean, some of the fields where we knife it in, we're hitting 70% of our fertilizer needs there. Now, where we're running it through the pivot, we're probably looking at 15-20% of it, but still helps with the price of fertilizer right now. It's definitely valuable to us. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this year I know has started off different than a lot of different years here than the last few years, but give us kind of the synopsis on the cropping side. How have things gone so far?
It's kind of been the tale of 2 years here, really, Chad, because you know, we started out and it kind of we were so dry and windy and everything, and so and then we've gotten about 5 inches of rain around here, so it's kind of changed the outlook and changed kind of the way we've been managing things. So we kind of felt starting out that conditions weren't that great for putting corn in the ground, so we started with some soybeans. Soybeans aren't quite as concerned about even germination quite as much as what corn is, so we started with soybeans. We just finished up with soybeans today now, and we're going to switch over to corn. Got some nice moisture here now that we're putting it in, and we got some heat, so we should see that popping out of the ground here pretty quick.
One of the reasons that we're talking to you and kind of following you this year is your ability to do your own on-farm trials. I understand that you've done a few things specific to your operation and specific to your part of the world here. What do you have slated to examine this year?
We're messing with some different seed treatments, some talc with some, you know, it's supposed to help break down some nutrients and stuff, you know, on the seed and stuff. So that's kind of one we've been doing here. And then mid-season, we've actually working with Brandt fertilizers, some different stuff sprayed on soybeans and corn. Mid-season, over the top is foliar feeding. They've got some new products that they wanted us to try to see kind of how they worked and if we had an advantage on it.
So Bob, I understand too that you've kind of dabbled in the organic soybean side of things too?
What's that been? Yeah, a little bit. This will be our first year on the organic soybeans. We've usually been doing corn, organic corn, white corn. This year we're trying something a little different with the soybeans. We actually ended up putting winter wheat in the spring here. And the thought process is that we get the winter wheat started, then we plant the soybeans in there, and come about the end of June, because that winter wheat did not go through a freeze thaw. It's supposed to die off, and then the soybeans are going to take off, and that's going to be our way of suppressing the weeds, because on organic you can't use any herbicides on it. So we're going to give it a shot. We're dipping our toe in the water on this. There's 30 acres, so we're going to see how that works.
All right, very good. Bob, it's good to talk to you, and we'll catch up with you here in a few weeks, see how things are going, okay?
Sounds good, Chad. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, we've been visiting with Bob Larson from Creston, Nebraska, dairy farmer, and of course, crop, corn, soybean, alfalfa farmer here north of Creston, and doing some of his own research on his farm here. That is today's Fridays in the Field segment, brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank.